Good morning, my class 6 students. I'm back with the second module of your history chapter, that is the fourth chapter which we were doing in the earliest cities. So, for the convenience of your understanding, I had divided this chapter into two parts. In the first segment, I had discussed about the significant features of the civilization. And here I would be talking about life, occupation, and the causes for the decline. And of course, a closer look of these two cities which are shown here, Dholavira and Lothal. So now the chapter continues, and the life of Indus Valley civilization. It is suggestive through the evidences that they had a highly developed city life. Many houses had wells and underground drainage system, and they depicted the well planned urbanization. The Harappan city was a very busy place. The rulers may have kept most valuable things like precious stones and gold ornaments for themselves, of course. And there were scribes who helped prepare the seals, craft persons were making toys for the children. And it was also believed that the rulers sent people to distant lands to get metal and precious stones and other things what they wanted. And they procured it. And these craftspersons, they were busy making toys for the children in their workshops or in their own homes. And people were traveling to distant lands or returning with raw materials and perhaps, of course, stories. There's also evidence of terracotta toys. Terracotta, a steatite, was the material which was predominantly used in Indus Valley. Then, as the new crafts and ornaments and vessels made of silver, gold were seen all around, beads, they were very fond of jewelry. Then cotton for the first time was probably grown at Mehergarh from about 7,000 years ago. And actual pieces of cloth were found attached to the lid of a silver vase, and spindle whorls were also found. Spindle whorls, as we all know, it is used for making thread. Then they were used for spinning. In the spinning wheel they were attached to. Then this also is a major evidence that yes, they had started on with some urbanization. A specialist is a person who was also trained to a particular kind of work, say as polishing beads or cutting stones or carving seals. Generally in your NCRT textbook or any other books for that reference, which are having Indus Valley civilization as a major chapter, they depict such kind of images also of these ornaments, the beads, then a bearded person, male torso, it is generally shown there. So now, as I said, the Harappans got copper from present-day Rajasthan and even from Oman in West Asia. Tin was mixed with copper to produce bronze. May have been brought from present-day Afghanistan and Iran. Gold, which was very precious, could have come from all the way from present-day Karnataka, and precious stones from present-day Gujarat, Iran and Afghanistan. These are the evidences and the references which are available while some of the raw materials that the Harappans used were available locally. It was nothing as such that for everything they had to send in people, but they were available locally and then they were processed to produce finished goods. Now, talking of fence. Fence was a material which was used to make bangles, then earrings, few toys. It was actually an artificial material. Unlike stone or shell that were found naturally, fence is a material that is particularly produced. A gum was used to shape sand or powdered quartz into an object, and then these objects were glazed in blue or sea green color. So we also have evidences wherein we find that the kind of occupation people had, it was predominantly they were farmers, and they liked living near the river because it kept the land green and fertile for growing crops. And these farmers generally lived together in villages, which grew over time into large ancient cities. And they prefer to stay near the rivers because they needed water to drink and wash and irrigation for the fields. Now, people reared cattle, sheep, goat, and buffalo. They also collected fruits like bear, caught fish, and hunted wild animals like antelope. A new tool, the plough, was used to dig the earth for turning the soil and planting the seeds. In fact, while real ploughs were made of wood, could not have survived, the toy models have been found, and as this region does not receive heavy rainfall, it was somehow irrigation which managed the cultivation of crop, and plough was generally used for tilling the land. They also had the idea of storing water reservoirs that they could procure and conserve water for the times when the plants are growing and they need to be irrigated. Water and pastures were available around the settlements. Now here, in this map it is depicted predominantly we had been talking about certain cities, amongst which we are taking over Dholavira and Lothal. We had found that, and these two were located in Gujarat. It's like Khadir Bet, Run of Kutch, they were located there. A city of Dholavira was located in Khadir Bet in Run of Kutch, where there was fresh water and fertile soil. Dholavira was divided into 3 parts, and each part was surrounded by massive stone walls with entrances through gateways. Now, large letters of Harappan script were also carved out of white stones and perhaps inlaid in wood. There were large open areas for public ceremonies. And one unique find is that Harappan writing has been found on small objects such as seals. So now when we talk about this, we get on to that people were managing things very well. They were very good at craftsmanship, and more or less technical and political process concerned with the use of land design of the urban environment. It was also looked into that these sites, as we all know, they were located in this area of Gujarat. So it was in the southern region. When we talk about the Dholavira at large, we also say this village is about 165 kilometer from Radhanpur, and Dholavira is a prominent archaeological site. It represents the ruins of ancient city of Harappan civilization. And if we talk about that, what was found here, Dholavira's location is on Tropic of Cancer, and it is one of the 5 largest Harappan sites belonging to Indus Valley civilization. And it was in say around 1960s that Professor J.P. Joshi he excavated. Dholavira is located at a distance of say 50 kilometers from the Pakistan border. So when we say that, what is it? It has immense importance. And there are other sites also, Banwali and Kalibangan. So it was they have not been discussed here. So even I'm leaving it and I'm going as per your NCERT textbook. Here are the ruins of Dholavira, which are shown in this clipping. Proceeding further, we come to Lothal. Lothal, as we all know, it was famous for dockyard, one of the southernmost cities of the ancient Indus Valley civilization, and it is located in the Bhal region of the modern state of Gujarat. Now, the city of Lothal stood beside a tributary of the Sabarmati in Gujarat, close to the Gulf of Khambat. It was situated near areas where raw materials such as semi-precious stones were easily available. Now, this was an important center for making objects out of stone, shell, and metal. And the ruins suggest that this site, as well as it was a site museum, was set up. And as far as the dockyard at Lothal, it indicates that people had maritime trade, sea trade, maritime trade relations with other civilizations. And talking about as to who must have discovered Lothal, it was very much there, but the excavations were done by British archaeologist Sir Mortimer Wheeler. So there was also a storehouse in the city. Many seals and sealings were found in this storehouse. They were very well kept. And beads of steatite, micro-cylindrical shaped chlorite, then seals, then short-horned bull seals, seal cutters. Actually, they preferred short-horned bulls, then mountain goats, tigers, composite animals, these kind of embossed seals were found. And talking about as to how old it would have been, of course, as the time suggests, not less than 4,000 years. So here another clipping is also shown, the dockyard, ruins of the dockyard. I hope everybody understands the meaning of dockyard. Dockyard is a place where the ships are anchored. And since I said maritime trade, yes, it was a massive dockyard which has helped make this place so important to international archaeology. At times it was also referred to as City of Dead, one of the most prominent ancient places. So, coming to the last section of the chapter, which is Mystery of the End. Around 3,900 years ago, we find the beginning of a major change. And what was the change? Let me guess. What was the change? The change was that people stopped living in many of the cities. The change was that seals and weights and writings were no longer used. Then raw materials brought from distances became very rare. They were not being more often being brought from other places. Then it was like the garbage, the drainage system broke down. Garbage piled up on the streets. What could have been the reasons? I mean, the possible reason that less impressive houses were built, even over the streets. And some scholars suggest that the rivers dried up, and others suggest that there was deforestation. I mean, these are all assumptions. This could have happened because fuel was required for baking bricks. Bricklins were there, baking bricks, and for smelting copper ores. Besides, grazing by large herds of animals like cattle, sheep, and goat may have destroyed the green cover. These are all the possibilities they are talking about. Now, decline of Indus Valley civilization. Here the remains of Indus Valley civilization have been carved out. Now it appears as if the rulers lost control. In any case, the effects were quite clear. Sites in Sindh and West Punjab were abandoned, while many people moved into newer, smaller settlements to the east and the south. Flooding or a river drying up would have had effects in only some areas. So, new cities, although they emerged about 1400 years later, but the time we are talking about, there were no such clues which we could have gathered. And also the Indus Valley civilization declined around 1800 BCE as the historians suggest, but the actual reasons behind its decline are still being debated. It's a debatable issue. One theory claims that Indo-European tribe, that is, say Aryans, invaded and conquered the Indus Valley civilization. Or maybe sudden natural calamity like flood or earthquake must have happened, due to which the entire civilization disappeared. Now, when some of the historians claim that there would have been some external invaders would have come. There must have been a battle, they must have fought, but how to fight? The entire excavation of Indus Valley civilization does not suggest the presence of weapons. So there was no possibility how could they defend themselves, how they would have protected themselves. With the result, they would have succumbed to it. And as till date, there are so many other views related to it, that sudden natural calamity must have happened, suddenly flood must have occurred, or maybe earthquake, the entire civilization must have been buried underground. And when the excavations were done, then we could find the entire civilization. So these are the possibilities which have been mentioned time and again. So here I am giving you an assignment which is quite in relation to this, and it would be quite innovative for you to do. Coming to the assignment, make a PowerPoint presentation on the topic causes for the decline of Indus Valley civilization. Now here, if we don't have any foolproof reason or a cause for the decline of that civilization, you have all the possibilities and options for an open-ended answer. Now I've given clues. The clues suggest that images of ruins you can put in. Yes, there must be question in your mind that what are we going to put in the PowerPoint presentation. First of all, you would be describing as to what could have been the possible causes, naming them from all that which I have discussed here in the chapter. And then along with it, you can always look for the images and then insert those images in few of the slides. Then external invasion. It's not always possible that you can get a particular picture which is suggested of Indus Valley civilization, but yes, any of the external aggressions, any of the soldiers and running towards a kind of images, you can take the screenshots and then you can insert those images. And then after that, the natural disasters. Natural disasters, we all know that they are unprecedented. We are never prepared for them because we do not know when what is going to happen. So natural disaster which is suggested by the historians at large would have been flood or earthquake. Floods, yes, they have been often situations like where the floods were there which used to bring around the alluvial soil along with the water which was driven around. So that was a different issue. But when we are talking about disappearance of the entire civilization, it could have been a massive flood or one possibility of an earthquake. So you can get the clippings of earthquake also, you can get the clippings of flood also. So it is not essential, it is not necessary that you may be getting the clippings related to Indus Valley civilization. But here, what you have to do, you have to camouflage them. You have to make the PowerPoint presentation in such a way where you are getting all the clippings related to these causes or reasons, and then compile them, put them together, writing the causes and reasons, describing them, and so as you can make a PPT, PowerPoint presentation, that may not be less than 10 slides. I think that will be one slide you would be putting the name, then the question, then the kind of images, and then that very comfortably you would be able to manage in 10 slides. Minimum 10 slides, and rest it's up to you how innovative you are, how creative you are. You can take help of anybody at home. No such restrictions. And with this, you would be having a valid reason to sit with the computer and net surfing. Yes, I know. You would enjoy it to the hilt, right? So, enjoy doing the assignment and try to make it look innovative. Your creativity should be brought out. And with this, we come to the end of this chapter in the earliest cities. That's all for now. So, remain happy, enjoy, keep studying, keep doing the assignments, and of course, stay safe. Bye-bye.